So the Fed meeting is today, and ADA is in somewhat a stable condition in comparison with how it's reacted in the past Fed meetings. And we have been tracking this WXY structure where we anticipated ADA to reach anywhere between 66 cents and 68 cents. Now, what's interesting about the price of ADA at the moment is it ended up reaching just short of our target. So you can see here ADA reached 68.16 cents, whereas our target sits at 68.14 cents. And so there is still more room to the downside as indicated by Smart Money Concept, which is indicating that there is a weak low. Now, what I will be looking at for with this announcement today is clues as to whether or not moving forward there is going to be a continuation on rates being paused or if we are going to see rates being cut. Now, if Jerome Powell hints at rates being paused moving forward, then I think that will be obviously negative, and that will also be reflected on the price of ADA, where we will see a continuation to the downside, where ADA could potentially reach this region here that we've also been tracking. Now, if it does hint at rates being cut moving forward, then of course that will be positive, and there will be a possibility of ADA continuing to move to the upside, where we could then potentially retest that 200 EMA at 72 cents. Now, as things are at the moment, I am still tracking this WXY structure. So here we have your W wave, X wave, and then your Y wave, where this Y wave would sit within this region here between 65 cents and 66 cents. And there is a possibility that within this Y wave, another WXY structure is also forming, which is somewhat like this, where you have your W wave, X wave, and then your Y wave. And so what we can do in the meantime is do our checks, where that X wave would be a 50 to 88.2% retracement of our wave W. So that minimum requirement has been met because our minimum target is 70 cents, whereas the current price of ADA is sitting at 70.97 cents. So there is still more room to the upside. However, we could potentially see a reversal and ADA move towards the downside, where we can then begin to track our wave Y. Now, should this wave X be complete, then we can anticipate the price of ADA potentially reaching anywhere between that 1 to 1.236 retracement of this wave here. So anywhere within the range of 65 cents and 66 cents. So more or less aligns with this target here that we've been tracking. So yeah, there is still more room to the downside, even though we have seen a nice bounce to the upside. And I think this would probably be a good opportunity for people to be, shorting the market and taking profits and potentially buying in at lower prices. Now, of course, we do have the stochastic RSI, which is also indicating that we are within overbought conditions. And so there is still more room to the downside, where we could potentially see ADA fall within this range here. Now, the 4-hour chart tells an interesting story because we are also reaching the overbought region on our stochastic RSI. So I am anticipating more room to the downside. And I do anticipate Jerome Powell announcing that there is going to be a continuation on rates being paused. And that's partly due to Trump also announcing, that on the 2nd of April, I believe it is, that he's going to implement his tariffs. And so that will give the Fed enough time to, gauge how, the market responds and how the economy responds. And from May onwards, then they can decide on whether or not they can, reduce the cuts. And so, yeah, I am anticipating a continuation on rates being paused, and maybe June or July is probably when we'll see rates being cut. And so I do think the market will respond to that announcement, and I do think that we will see more room to the downside, where it can then potentially reach this zone here. And so, yeah, that's just my quick update on ADA. Hopefully you found this useful, and if you did, then feel free to hit that like button. And if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.